My 29 male girlfriend, 28 female, is Penpals with a convicted murderer. How do we work through this?
Ooh, that's spicy.
So, story goes as this. I, 29 male, have a serious girlfriend, 28 female, of a little over a year, who I'll refer to as J. We have a lot of mutual friends and generally share the same friend group, which is how we met. So, I don't want to risk going to any of my friends about this. Not that I think they'd have any idea what to tell me anyway, and I'm afraid they'd start to see her or treat her differently. Anyway, we've gotten really serious over the last 6 months or so, to the point that we've been looking into apartments and even picked out a couple of options. My current lease ends next month, and hers will be up in November, so it's kind of perfect timing. We both have decent jobs and make comparable money. Agreed to a 50-50 on all costs for the foreseeable future, all that good adult stuff. I've been really excited to start this new chapter with her. I even started casually looking at rings a couple months ago because honestly, I feel like she is the one for me. She's smart, beautiful, funny, loved by nearly everyone she meets, and just overall the best person I've ever met, let alone dated. Now, on to the issue. About 2 weeks ago, I was spending the weekend at her place. We usually alternate weekends at one another's apartment and sometimes spend weeknights together. I ended up catching some kind of stomach bug or something on Sunday and took a sick day off work on Monday. Jay invited me to stay at her apartment until at least Monday night since I still wasn't feeling well enough to drive back home. And she was really sweet about it and offered to take care of me, make me soup, all that good stuff. She works 10 to 6 on Mondays, so I was in the apartment alone during that time. And I mostly slept and spent time in the bathroom. But at one point, I didn't make it to the toilet in time and made a pretty gross mess on her bathroom floor.
What the fuck?
I wonder what kind of mess.
How did you not?
Hey, stomach bugs, bro.
Yeah,
like
I guess that's true.
You can't control any of that.
I'd just be sitting on the toilet.
The whole time. I really didn't want to leave it for her to deal with it, so I called to ask if she had any extra towels she didn't really care about that I could use to clean up the mess. She didn't answer.
Towels? Towels? Go buy some at Walmart, right?
Boy, he's gonna shit on the floor at Walmart.
I don't know. There's towels is crazy.
She didn't answer because she was busy at work and not near her phone. So I went digging through her linen closet, looking behind all the really good towels and blankets to find the rattier and stained ones.
Damn, what would you do in that situation?
I don't know, bro.
I don't know.
Kill all her paper
crazy.
towels, basically.
I made fun of towels, but now I'm like, what would I do in that situation?
I guess, like using an old towel. I guess that is the
sensible thing to do at the moment. Yeah.
Ugh, that's terrible. What a terrible situation.
They ended up being on the top shelf and I was weak and frustrated, so when I pulled them down, a couple other things that were stuffed away there came falling down, including a shoebox I'd never seen before. I really don't like going through her things when she's not around because we respect each other's privacy and I completely trust her.
So I went through it.
Yeah. Anyways, this is like fucking Raj going through like his girlfriend's things at Big Bang Theory.
What a pull.
I know.
I never watched that one.
I liked
you
it.
didn't miss too much.
Oh, damn.
But as I was cleaning up what I'd spilled, I happened to notice something odd and I just couldn't help but be a little nosy. It was an envelope addressed to her, and the return addresses was a prison in another state.
But I respect her and I didn't read it.
As I looked at the other stuff in the shoebox, I found way more envelopes just like it, as well as some drawings. I'll admit, in a moment of weakness, I could not help myself. I had to see what was going on. This is where I feel the need to explain that I found it so odd because she has told me everything about her past, her family, her childhood. I could name every pet she's ever had, and I've met her parents, both her siblings, and quite a few of her cousins, aunts, and uncles. And not once has anyone, least of all her, told me about knowing anyone in prison, let alone communicating with them. So as it turns out, these letters dated back way before we even started dating, and the most recent one was from about 3 months ago. Obviously, I didn't see the one she sent, but the ones she received were very affectionate, ? For lack of a better term, like something long-distance lovers would write to each other. I know Jay has a big interest in true crime and listens to a lot of podcasts, watches a lot of documentaries, all that stuff. Nothing really unusual since it seems like a ton of women are really into true crime these days. But I recognized this guy's name pretty quickly And knowing what he did and finding out my girlfriend, who I adore and love so deeply, actually talks to him this way is really fucking with my head. I won't name the guy specifically in case that violates some kind of rule on here, but let's just say his case was huge and fairly recent, like within the last 5 years, and he very brutally killed his pregnant wife and 2 kids. He even confessed, for fuck's sake.
I
Is this the guy that hid their bodies in like a
lied.
My speculation is Chris Watts as well.
Is that the Netflix
That's
one?
yeah.
That was
Yeah.
big.
Oh,
Yeah. I ended up reading through about 3 or 4 of the letters until they literally made me sick. Then I put everything back just the way I'd found it, cleaned up my mess in a bathroom, and drove myself home. I texted her and made up an excuse that I was feeling better enough to get myself home and that I just wanted to sleep in my own bed so I could return to work as usual the next day.
He cleaned the mess.
He did.
Okay, that'd be
But
crazy.
honestly,
Can you imagine?
But honestly, I could hardly bear to look at her afterwards. Since then, we've spent a few days together. But I've made up excuses as to why I've been so busy to spend much time with her. In all honesty, I really want to talk to her about this, but I'm afraid she'll lie or I don't know. I'm even more afraid, I guess, that she'll just tell me the truth and expect me to be okay with it. I still love her, deeply. And I miss her every hour of every day, and I've been sleeping like shit and super distracted throughout the day trying to figure out how to handle this. I can't talk to anyone about it, and I really, really do not want to just end the relationship over this. I genuinely see a future with this woman. I love her with all my heart, and I don't know that I will ever find anyone else I care about this much. But how do I move past this? Is there a part of it I'm not considering? I know most of you will probably say, just talk to her. And I know that's logically the best plan, but at the same time, what if she confesses to being in love with a sick fucking murderer?
well, then you'll know.
Then that's
What
your
do you
sign to
mean?
leave.
Have that conversation.
Yeah.
I think.
This dude killed his entire family in cold blood, and how could she even entertain the idea of writing to him, let alone those kinds of letters? Maybe it's just a morbid curiosity on her part? And if I do just talk to her about it, what do I say? How do I even approach the subject? Any advice would be greatly appreciated. And before any of the paranoid people will pop in, no, I do not think she has been or would ever cheat on me. I don't know if I even consider this cheating since it's just letters and they'll never realistically meet face to face. But just the idea that she would want to correspond with this guy is sickening to me. How do we get past it? And maybe she just needs some serious therapy for some sort of issue she's never realized she has. I don't know. I'm truly at loss here. Thanks for reading.
Yeah, I mean, like, like everything you're saying, you can only find out if you have a conversation with her.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too.
If it is some deep rooted thing that she maybe needs therapy for, she's only going to get that. Like if you confront her and ask her about it, and she tells you about something from her past, or if she's into this guy, which is crazy. I do remember the story now. I looked him up there quickly. It's an insane story.
It is. It was basically Gone Girl.
Yeah,
You
you
never watched
reversed.
that one. I
Yeah.
heard that was good.
Reverse, yeah.
Yeah. Well, not reversed, I guess, because she did technically leave. Yeah. Anyway. So the only way you're going to get answers is having a conversation with her. He said this isn't cheating, but depending on what those letters said, I would count them as emotional cheating depending on
I do too.
how far it went.
It's the one that was recent, like 3 months ago. Like he did say that he doesn't know when she sent that to, but because a lot of the letters was like predating him.
Right.
But getting it 3 months ago, or 3 months ago, basically, that I mean, it's not unlikely that she was still corresponding with him during the time they were together. So I would consider it, especially them explaining that the content of the letters are a little bit more on the affectionate side.
Yeah. Well, that's what I mean.
Yeah.
I think it is for sure emotional cheating.
Yeah, if they're calling each other like pet names and something,
Mhm.
but also like what you said, you have to have a conversation about it.
Yeah.
But also, if they're calling each other Pookie, then it's kind of like, all right, well, I mean, clearly it's over, right?
Also, it's insane to call someone who just murdered his pregnant wife and kids 5 years ago Pookie, or
Yeah.
whatever. Like, not obviously not Pookie. Anything. And I'm all for rehabilitation and like prisoners having
Not this motherfucker.
like access to like communication to the outside world and stuff like that. But yeah, people like these who haven't done any sort of retribution or anything like that. Like he's only been there for a few years, and
Yeah.
like the crime he committed was so horrifying that I'm like, yeah, I think people shouldn't be wanting to write to you other than news reporters. You know what I mean? That should be the limit. So
I always think it's strange
Crazy.
whenever a conventionally normal looking person gets written to. Like, they're known for murder, and people will write and send like pictures of themselves and wanting to
marry
like,
them.
have fantasies of marrying them and stuff like that. Goes both ways, men and women.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And it's just like, wait, one, they look normal. You could go out on the street and find
you can
this
find a
very
dude like
person.
that.
Yeah. And two, you know what they've done.
Yeah.
I mean, what? Why? Again, like I'm with Josh. I believe in, rehab and things like that. But also, I don't know if this guy is
for way lesser crimes though. Like,
not
certain
not
ones.
these types of
No.
crimes.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's some that I'm like, nope, one and done.
lock them
Get
up.
the fuck,
Yeah.
you're done. Yeah.
I don't know with murdering your family.
Yeah. That was and then lying, like he lied about it and hid them. Like
Mm-hmm.
it's
Yeah.
I don't know. There's so many fucked up things about that case, but anyway, yeah. Talk to her.
Yeah, so one of the top comments here from Winter Lower Score Apartment 376 wrote, "You should understand that Reddit is full of teenagers giving life advice. There's
true.
adults here too
Yeah,
giving
30-year-old idiots giving life advice.
There are a bunch of teenagers out there too, though.
There are, yeah.
Sometimes I'll read this stuff and I'm like, there's
How old?
no
are you?
way you could vote, right? There's just, this isn't possible, right?
Reddit is also full of people who give toxic and destructive advice. That's me. Believing that you should immediately walk away from any issue. That said, I grew up in a healthy family and have had healthy relationships and fair amount of life experience. Here's my thinking. You are postponing the likely conflict and focusing on ignoring the problem you have discovered.
Yeah.
It is a human reaction. Many of us have done it. I don't want to tell you what to do, but here are the options I see. You can avoid talking about this, and you can leave her without telling the real reason. You can bury it deep down and continue the relationship without ever mentioning it.
No, that's a bad plan.
No,
That's
because
not
that's-
a good
yeah.
one.
Yeah. And of course, you can do what is a generally mature thing. Tell her the truth and ask about it. Yes, it might hurt, and yes, it might be the end of your relationship, either by you not being able to stay knowing the answer, or her deciding that she doesn't want to be with a person who snoops/doesn't trust her. Or it might go much easier than you expected. Perhaps she's doing some journalistic thing or similarly.
Oh, that's
These are
true.
all options.
but not based on the pet names and or
Yeah.
whatever.
The romantic kind
Yeah.
of connotation in the notes. These are all options. Take time and decide what
Unless
to
she's
do
a
and how to phrase it.
Double agent in order to get information. She has to call him.
I mean, they got his ass already, bro.
Yeah, I don't know
what. These are all options. Take time and decide what to do and how to phrase it. But in my humble experience, I would take a day, not more, and then tell her you want to talk about something. And they put a little suggestion text on what they can use. Babe, I made a mess in bathroom. I was looking for some old towels and I found something. I'm really sorry for snooping, but it made me super stressed. Could you tell me what that was?
What was the accident? What accident did you?
I should have loved your floor.
And ruin your favorite towels.
And then listen. Ask more questions. Try not to attack her or get defensive. Then thank her for her honesty and then tell her you need some time to process. You can't really fully process it without knowing the circumstances, which I agree. I think that is the adult thing to do is have that conversation and kind of like what that commenter said. You might not like what you hear, but at least you got the answer to your burning questions, basically.
And then you can decide on whether to stay with them or not. So
yeah,
which
personally, if that was me and if I found out my spouse was having like a pen pal conversation with a damn murderer, I would feel some type of way that they're participating in that type of thing.
well, yeah, or glorifying it or anything like that. Yeah. There's
Or dismissing the fact that this person is a fucking killer and a murderer.
Yeah.
I did hate like how they sensationalize like, Ted Bundy when his case was very
They
popular.
do it to
like
many
how,
of them.
Oh yeah. Like
Yeah.
Even the what's her name? Casey Anthony. People were
Casey Anthony. I know Sean was mentioning like, oh, these conventionally like handsome or good looking
Just regular
people.
looking people.
No, I said conventionally regular.
Regular. You'd be surprised. There are people who like I don't know if you know who Gacy is. They call him the killer clown.
Yeah.
He's not the best looking dude, but a lot of people obsessed over him too and writing him shit like that. So
Yeah.
I think it's just the thrill of it, but it's weird behavior to me.
That's weird.
Super weird.
It is.
Get therapy.